Babuji always believed in actions, so he never restricted himself to the words quoted in the books. Instead, he always converted the words quoted in the books into action. From an environmental safety perspective, he never discarded any damaged material at his residence, rather preferred to refurbish and salvage the same material for some other purposes. Thus he turned waste into best. Some instances of his actions that prove Babuji's concern for the environment are utilizing the damaged plastic water tanks for plants and discarded air cooler basins for gardening purpose. Foreseeing the energy crisis in the future, Babuji got a solar water heater installed on the terrace of his residence in the year 1996, when anybody else in the Nagpur city ever heard about it. Later, he got solar cell panels on the terrace of his residence to reduce his dependency on the power grid of the state electricity board, and thus, cut down his monthly electricity bills. Babuji was the first face in the Nagpur city to implement the rainwater harvesting system at his residence, even though there was no crisis for water in the city. All his actions indicate his concerns for the environment and gives a clue about his vision to making his home a green building, since from the inception.
That Babuji designed the same system for his own house, and then he applied paints from outside which would absorb heat and reduce the heat incidence. It was a May, probably I think 1995 or 96, or maybe later. The outside temperature was phenomenal. It's above I think 47 degrees, and myself and Babuji were both talking without operating any air cooling system or air conditioning on the ground floor, and only air cooling system on the first floor also, and it was quite comfortable. So this is something which I have found him to be working.
Mr. Jiwani is a renowned name for designing evaporative cooling systems in central India. In fact, he is the one who created an awareness about centralized evaporative cooling in large residential and commercial buildings across central India. Realizing the dry climatic condition of the geography, Babuji emphasized evaporative air cooling systems, as it is a cost-effective solution for ventilation and indoor environmental conditions. Inspired by Babuji's air cooling solutions, many air cooler manufacturers jumped into the business, and the air cooling systems got prominence in every building, including residential to commercial, and hospitals to hotels. To make his residence an energy-efficient building, Babuji got evaporative air coolers installed at his place in 1996. Encouraged by the results of the evaporative air cooling systems installed at Babuji's residence, all his neighbors in the vicinity started installing evaporative air cooling systems at their places. Babuji was endorsed multiple times for his innovations.
I designed three very prestigious projects after around 1993, you can say. First and foremost is Cinemax and Eternity Mall, located at Vidarbh, Nagpur, which is a centralized position. Initially, the air cooling system was designed in a way that the ducts were inserted into the concrete slab itself, and that will reduce the cost of the concrete, that will even reduce the depth of the beams, and then the cool air would be pushed down. And when there was a very humid condition outside, dehumidifiers were placed in position of air coolers as a replacement. Well, that didn't come up because the air cooling was not recommended for mall and multiplex in those days by authorities. Well, the second project we designed together was scientific Sabhagruhas located in the Lakshmi Nagar, Nagpur. The challenging job was a common compound wall between Vikram Tower and the scientific Sabhagruha. Scientific Sabhagruha is a 400 capacity theatre for dramatics and cultural programs, and the apartments are sold off. The acoustics was designed by Dr. Rajgopal, whereas the air cooling system was designed by Jiwani ji. Our clients wanted the conventional air coolers to be placed at the terrace, and both of them were not interested to execute it that way. But because of certain conditions, the execution was done by the society, and still today the ducting and the system is working. The last project we did together was Gupta Energy's office building at Baroda. That was also a challenging job because the initial design had a courtyard, and we had covered that courtyard at third floor level, and a small garden was developed inside. Jiwani ji suggested that we should go for water body with a fountain, so that will be humidifying the entire system and the rooms, and that will be a plus point in air cooling of the rooms from inside. Well, that was executed, and that was my last project because I had decided to retire from the professional practice. Not for any reason, but I wanted a break and I wanted to do something different, which I am still today doing. That is, I am a practicing valuer now.